Hi, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to look at the Evolve 28. It's a new bow from PSE for 2018. It was released halfway through the year. It comes in colours of black, and this is the charcoal. So you'll notice the charcoal limbs. This is a first for PSE. It's the first time they're doing coloured limbs which match the riser. You'll still see they have the black limb pockets. It comes in cryptic camo, which looks like snake skin, and also mossy oak camo breakup, which is the standard camo for PSE. Now the Evolve 28 is 28 inches axle to axle, making it quite short, making it one of the shortest bows on the market. To me, it was a kind of a release brought out because Matthews had the Triax, which was the flagship bow for Matthews. The Triax is also 28 inches axle to axle. So if you're going to compare bows, probably the Triax is the best one to compare this to. Now the difference between the Matthews Triax and this bow, besides the cam system, is the Evolve 28 has a rotating module system. The rotating modules allow you to adjust the draw length, and in this case from 24.5 to 30 inches, it enables you to adjust the let off from 90 to 80%, or it enables you to change the let off if you buy new modules, which cost about 120, to 65 to 75, and they've also got a fast module setup, which will increase the speed of the bow by about 8 feet per second, and that gives you a harder draw cycle and lower let off. It's also a 75 to 65% let off. So some of the things that are new on the Evolve 28. PSE have served the cables on the strings. You've got a roller cable slide. The cable guard itself is flexible, so as you pull it back, that will flex in to reduce the torque. The cam system is the Evolve cam system, which has got a yoke top and a yoke bottom, so they're twin cams. Now what this means is the top cam and the bottom cam need to be synchronized. So you'll notice here on this bow, the center of the string, the center where you have your D loop, is the center of the string. So your grip, where you're actually holding the bow, is below center. That enables your cams to be timed all the time. Price point on this bow, roughly around 1,300 Australian dollars, pricing at the same as the Evolve 31 and the Evolve 35. In America, you'll see this bow priced at about $1,000. The limbs on the Evolve 28 are the standard PSE limbs, which PSE use on all their bows, which is your Gordon glass limb, which is under a lot of tension. You can see it there. You'll notice it's got new circlips on the limbs, which are stainless steel. The graphics look quite nice. I'm going to explain the wedge lock. I'm just going to put down my Marla Poodle. The wedge lock system, what it actually is, so this is a machine limb pocket here. So this is all machined out of a single piece of steel. Now on the side, these little bolts on the side here, I'm going to try and zoom up. This pulls this together here, so it locks the limbs on the side here. The wedge lock system just there locks the limbs on the side, so this pushes the limbs against the pocket on the side, and this pushes the limbs in. So basically the limbs are locked in place. Now if you go to adjust the poundage, you do not adjust that, and you don't adjust this. You only adjust this here and this if you're going to replace the limbs. Let's say you've had a dry fire and you've broken the limbs. That's when you have to loosen this and loosen these things on the side here. Now if you don't loosen this on the side here and you go to replace the limbs, you will break the little bit of plastic there which is pushing against the limb on the side there. So I'll try and zoom up. They're just like a little washer. So speed on the bow, 335 feet per second. Now the weight of this bow, and what I'm interested in this bow is why you buy the 28-inch version versus the 31 versus the 35. So let's just turn this on. That's it, pounds. Now the mass weight of this bow with the sight and stuff on it is 4.5 pounds, and that's with the sight and arrow rest on it. So that's that one. Let's try it with the Evolve. Let's try it with the Evolve 31. Now the 31 is the same bow basically, but it's 31 inches axle to axle. So it's got a longer riser. This is your standard hunting bow. So if you're going hunting, 31 inches is very, very standard. Now you'll see on the Evolve 31, it was pulling back with the sight, RRS, and it's got a little plastic stabilizer on it at over 5 pounds. So half a pound difference between the two bows. Then we go to the big brother, the Evolve 35. Now the Evolve 35 is going to be the bow that you choose as a crossover between target and 3D, being 35 inches axle to axle. Now the weight of this bow is about 5.3, so a little bit heavier than the 31, with the sight, stabilizer, and the RRS on the bow. Now what is the longer axle to axle doing? First off, it's changing the angle where the string touches your nose and where you anchor. So the shorter bows, like the Evolve 28, are going to put the peep sight further away from your eye. It's going to create a more acute angle here. So basically, if you're going to use your nose as an anchor point, you're going to be pulling back further here to get that same point. Or you're going to be in front of your nose when you shoot with a shorter bow versus the longer. So that's basically the difference. Speed on the Evolve 35 is 340. The Evolve 31 the Evolve 31 is speed. I can't see it here. It's normally on the dud chart. I think it's about 340. So the Evolve 28 is slightly shorter, and that's probably because of brace height. So the brace height on the Evolve 31 is 6 inches. And the Evolve 28 is 7 inches. So you've lost an inch of basically draw cycle and speed, which is why the Evolve 28 is a little bit shorter. Sorry, a little bit slower than the Evolve 31. But it's a little bit lighter. So this bow is going to be more sought after by someone who wants a bow to put on their backpack for walking. So if you're walking all day, the lighter bow is probably going to be more favorable to you. In America, a lot of people hunt from tree stands. The shorter bow, or if you're hunting from inside blinds where you sit down to shoot, the shorter bow may be more preferable for you. We don't do a lot of blind hunting in Australia. So yeah, the shorter bow, more compact, but a little bit harder to shoot. And part of this video is what we want to do is see how hard the 28 is to shoot and what it feels like. So first off, the balance point on this bow. You can see it balances pretty well in my hand. The Evolve 31. See how it's slightly, and yes, there is a bit of rubber on there, but you can see the 31 rolls forward. Now I'm going to guess from my review I did on the 31, when you shoot the Evolve 31, it kind of sits there in your hand. And that's because when you shoot the bow, the pressure point is down low, so it's going to kind of kick up. So this is going to be pretty well balanced, in my opinion, on the shot release. Where while the Evolve 28 feels great in your hand, I think this bow is going to kick a little bit like that when you shoot the bow, because the pressure point's down here. So on the physical shot, this bow is going to want to do that. So I think this bow is going to shoot better with the stabilizer. So with that, just a couple of things. On all PSE, they have multiple sight positions here, so you can change the sight position, which is good. The Matthews Tri-X does not have that feature. String stop down here made out of carbon. That's good. So with that, I think we're ready to shoot this bow at 18 meters and see what it shoots like, and then we can compare it. Okay, so PSE have had short bows before. They've had the super short, which was the first of the X-Forces, which was, I think, around this sort of axle around 28 inches, maybe even shorter. It was a machine riser, similar limbs with a hybrid cam system, very, very fast cams. Now, for me, that bow was not a seller. I reckon in Australia I sold 2 or 3 of them at tops. so it wasn't popular and it was quite hard to shoot. So if you're looking for a bow to cross over between hunting and target, this wouldn't be the bow I'd choose. I'd either be looking at the 35 or the 31. But if you're looking for a bow to do recreational archery, walk around and you're not really interested in scores, or hunting with your backpack, this is the bow that you'd be interested in looking at. Now I really like the finish on the paint. It's not smooth. The black is smooth. You'll see this is like almost a bit of a rough finish, and I really like it. It's a tough finish. I reckon I could drop this and have no issue at all. So the grip is pretty standard for the X-Force. For the Evolve cam system, and it's pretty standard PSE grip. The thickness is about pretty standard. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to draw this bow back and see what it feels like. Now all the Evolve cam systems have all got the same cam, so they should all feel the same to draw. So if you've drawn one, you've pretty much drawn them all back. So it's pretty solid here, a bit more solid here, there, and then it drops off into a huge valley. That's the 90% let off. And then when you're back here, it won't physically move. I'm going to let this down. And I always hate letting down shots with a back tension release aid. Now as you lean that down, because you're going from 90%, which is weighing 6 pounds, straight up to 60 pounds, it's quite hard on your shoulder. So that's the first thing with 90% let off. But with 90% let off, you can sit there and hold it all day. Now for target shooting, I prefer low let off, because I'm creating more tension in the shot, more tension between my shoulder blades. But for hunting, you may prefer, and I may prefer, a high let off, because I can aim for longer at an animal which is moving. And yes, you shouldn't be shooting if it's moving, but generally the animal may be grazing, and you want that higher let off just so you can sit there and aim longer. But that's up to you, and this bow enables you to make that choice and change the entire way this bow feels. So if you fit the fast let off modules, this bow will feel completely different than the high let off modules. It becomes a speed machine. So that's the first thing. So let's take a shot. So the draw cycle is pretty good, and I had a guy come in my shop today. Sorry, he came in yesterday. He's from Finland, and he brought a Matthews Triax from me, which is the 28-inch version of this bow by Matthews. And he said, can I have a shot with the Evolve 28? And I said, sure. And it was actually this bow. And I said, go and shoot and see what you think. So he came back and shot, and I said, what do you think? And he said, I think the draw cycle's a bit better on the PSE than the Matthews. He said, it's a very good bow to shoot. Now, when I first got this bow, the Evolve 28, one of my staff set it up and had a shot in the shooting range with it, and came back and he went, I'm like, what does that mean? And he goes, it's a good bow. He said, you really like it. So for me, 28 inches is generally a little bit short, so I'd probably be looking at 35 for 3D sort of archery. But for recreational archery, where I just walk around by myself with my puppy, that's where this bow or the 31 will come in. I would probably prefer the 31 for hunting because it's a little bit more easy to shoot, but let's see how I shoot with this. Now first off, with the string angle, I cannot notice the difference between this bow and the Evolve 31 or the Evolve 35. It touches my nose perfectly, and yes, it could be because I've got a large nose, but I cannot notice the difference of being back further. Now I'm going to say one of my viewers, or one of my customers said with Hoyt, they say their 31-inch bow feels like a 35-inch bow, and he's got a 35-inch bow, so he tried it out. And he goes, well, that's a lot of marketing crap. And I was like, it pretty much is. What they're saying is the distance from here, the end of the wheel to the end of the wheel is actually longer than 28 inches, and it is. You've probably got an extra couple of inches there. So instead of this being a 28-inch bow, which is axle, you're actually adding 2 inches to the top, 2 inches to the bottom. So this should actually feel like a 31-inch bow to shoot. But the 31-inch bow will feel like a 35-inch bow to shoot, and the 35-inch bow will feel like a 37-inch bow to shoot. So, you know, really it's a bit of marketing blurb. But that was nice and comfortable to shoot that shot. So let's just have a shot. Let's have a look, because I didn't pay any attention. I was just worried where the arrow went. Let's have a feel on where this arrow, the bow balance after the shot. So I'm just... You'll see the bow kicks up when I shoot. Now that's what I expected. Now this bow is going to shoot a heck of a lot better if you put a stabilizer on it. And that's what you're going to try, and we're going to try that in this video. So with this bow, I'd definitely be shooting a stabilizer to get rid of that kick. Now I feel like I'm aiming really well with this bow. I feel like I'm at 18 meters. The pin just sits in the middle. I feel like it aims really well. The bow's nice and light to shoot. Now there are bows lighter to shoot than this. You know, the PSE Drive, the Stealth, the carbon bow, obviously 3.2 versus what, 4.2, so a pound lighter. But the price point, $1,300 for a machine riser, machine limb pockets. It's not too badly priced. Now, if I compare it in price to the Matthews Triax, the Matthews Triax is more expensive. My puppy's just stood on a bit of tape, but anyway, let's have a couple more shots. Actually, now I come to think of it, my grip here at the back is back further. I'm not getting the knuckles in the normal spot. So normally I tuck these knuckles into my jaw, and I'm actually finding I'm back a little bit. So with the shorter bow, it is moving my hand back a little bit. Now, one thing I'm going to say also on the Matthews, comparing the Matthews to this bow, the distance from there to there on the Matthews, I'm going to get this number wrong, but please check it, is, let's say, 6 inches. Now, the problem is you need your peep sight higher than that. So with the Matthews on the Halon, where the serving stops is exactly where the peep sight needs to be. And for me, it's actually the peep is a little bit low, and I want the peep higher, but there's serving to this point. The distance from the PSE, from the D-loop, right up here is huge. So you're going to have no problems fitting a peep sight to this bow, where you may have issues with the Halon, which is 30 inches axle, and I can't remember what the Triax is. But Matthews run the serving down, in my opinion, too far down the string, and it makes the bow uncomfortable to shoot. This bow, no issues with fitting a peep sight at all. Let's just shoot one more and we'll see where the arrows are. So do I enjoy shooting this bow? Absolutely, I really enjoy it. It's nice and light, it's fast, it's pretty quiet, there's no really noise on the strings. It's a nice bow to shoot, very adjustable in draw length, poundage, let off and all that sort of stuff. I really like that. I like the little limb bolt system they have here. They've got a lower stabilizer, if you're going to fit lower stabilizers there. So overall, I really like the bow. So for me, if I was just shooting up around my mum's place, where it's just recreational shooting, I'm not shooting comp, this bow would be something I'd really consider right at the top of my list, just because it's nice and compact and a bit lighter than the 31. Let's go down and see what these arrows are like on the target. Okay, so I'm up here at the target. Now you can see here I did one bad shot. Now, when it comes to bows and setting up bows, often you'll find a harder shooting bow will shoot just as well as an easier shooting bow. The issue becomes when you do a bad shot, which is clearly what this is. A faster bow, a harder bow to shoot will punish you for a bad shot. But if you do a good shot every time, whether it be a target bow or a hunting bow, it will still go in the center. So you'll see this group here, I can get my fingers around. The problem is that one arrow. So getting my fingers around at 18 meters around a group is always my mark, and I can with the Evolve 28. So with all the reviews I do, getting my fingers around the group it doesn't occur most of the time. With the Evolve 28, it clearly does. There's no question of getting my fingers around the group. It's not a bad group, except for that one arrow. That one arrow, the one bad shot, you get hammered if the bow's faster or it's shorter, it's less forgiving. And that's exactly what that arrow is there. It's just a bad shot. Okay, so I've grabbed myself the PSE, I think this is called the ZO stabilizer. It's 8 inches long. This is a machine body with rubber inside. It's got a weight at the end with a bit of rubber here, which should absorb a bit of shock from the bow. Now there's really no shock in the bow, but I'm looking for that balance downwards. Now this stabilizer retails for around $60. You can adjust the weight down the end here. Now would I be better to put on a more expensive stabilizer such as a bee stinger or something like the dead center stabilizer, which gives me more weight adjustment? Look, probably, and you're best to try them out. I really have got a soft spot for the dead center stabilizers. Really, really like them. I found they quieten the bow down and they offer a good vibration. This stabilizer is cheaper. Locks on nicely. I think it looks quite nice on the bow. Now let's just look at their balance now on the bow. You can see it slightly leans forward, but not too much. You may need a little bit more weight than this. But now I've also moved my sights across to the left. So with any luck, these arrows will be in the middle. So let's see how I go. Look, the bow feels so much better with the stabilizer. I honestly didn't pay any attention to the way the bow came out on that shot. I was just feeling the vibration in the shot afterwards. It felt a lot deader in the vibration. The bow felt better with a $60 stabilizer on. Now I'm going to pay some attention to where it falls this time in my hand. Now I think it did this a little bit and then it sort of balanced itself down because you can see it's slightly forward heavy. So for me, this stabilizer is about the right weight and the balance for this bow. So if you're going to go for a shorter stabilizer, you're going to need more weight. A longer stabilizer, less weight. Now if you're going to fit a stabilizer, let's say you want to fit a 10-inch stabilizer for greater stability, you're going to then need the rear stabilizer to fit on the back here to rebalance the bow up. Okay, now I'm just noticing here there's another screw hole just at the top here. Now I've got no idea what that's for, and my first thoughts would be it's for another string stop, so you can fit 2 string stops. But the new string stops are just a carbon rod, so I'd expect there to be a hole with a thing on the side so you can fit another string stop in. So I've got no idea why you tap this here. I've tapped it for a reason, I just don't know what that reason is. But this bow with the stabilizer is lovely to shoot. It's solid, it feels rugged, it's a tough bow, feels tough, feels durable. Now I've been experimenting with the focus, the Super Focus of late, which is a D-flex riser. So basically the point of the riser here is closer to the outside of these limbs here. And what I'm finding is it's a little bit more stable. This is a deflex riser, obviously, so I am getting a slight little bit of that thing happening in the shot. I don't think it's affecting my accuracy down the end. But you've got to understand, I don't have big long stabilizers on it. I haven't eaten today, so I can make lots of excuses. Look, it's a lovely bow shoot. Now when you choose any bow, I mean, I saw the reviews on this bow from PSE shooters, and I'm not well, I kind of am, you know. When you see reviews from people, they go, oh, this is the greatest bow ever. It's like, well, why aren't you shooting in competition? You've got to take from reviews kind of a grain of salt from them and go and try them. To me, this is a great little bow for, I'm going to say again, backpacking, walking, recreational shooting. Because it's nice and light, it's more compact. And for hunting, like, am I going to be making 50 meter shots? No. I would like to shoot this bow at 50 meters though. So I'm going to do another video where I shoot this bow at 50 meters. But it won't be today because it's dark outside. Actually, what I might do is I might take all three of the Evolves out, the Evolve 31, the Evolve 35, the Evolve 28, shoot them all at 50 meters with the same setup and see which one shoots better groups. Because to me, this bow feels really good, and for hunting wise, you know, I want to take, if I'm hunting, I'm going to be taking shots under 30 meters. That's where I'd like to kill. To me, this is going to be more than effective for me, given I don't do a bad shot. Now, on all my videos, customer service and support for me as a dealer is so key, and PSE provide the best customer support in the industry. There's just no one better. And once again, I'm going to challenge any bow company to be better, because they should be better when you need customer support. Because customer support, man, customers get angry when they're waiting for stuff. And that's one of the things with this bow, the Evolve cam system. It's the same cam that you see on the Evolve 28, the Evolve 31, the Evolve 35, all use the same cam system. And I'm going to guess it's still the same cam system for the Beast, probably. So you've got the same modules, same cams. So if you ever have a problem, let's say in 5 years, that was the main cam they used at that era. So it's going to be readily available. You know, the limbs on PSE, every limb's the same. When I say the same, it's made the same way. So in 5 years, if you need limbs for your old PSE, there shouldn't be any issues having them made. But with other bow manufacturers, they change the entire lineup, they change their limbs, they change their shapes, and they cannot make you old limbs. And for me as a shop, it's an absolute killer. I mean, I had a guy in with a Martin, and he cracked the limbs on it. The bow's 3 years old, Martin won't do the warranty. So let's say he paid $800 for the bow, so I've got to do a lifetime warranty because Martin won't do anything. So I just give him a new bow. I say, there you are, there's a new bow. So I'm out of pocket now, $800. And as a shop, I tell you, don't make a lot of money, and $800 for me is a lot of money in the shop to lose in one shop because the bow manufacturer doesn't support its product. Now, I've been selling PSE forever. When I say forever, 15 years I'm going to guess. It might not be that long, it might have been 12 years, but a fair while. And in 12 years, PSE has never been able to not fix a bow for me, ever. And let's say they don't make the model anymore, they generally sort of do an upgrade for me on the bow. I mean, the customer service is just brilliant. I just love it. Because otherwise I wouldn't be in business. You know, if I was a Martin dealer, I'd be broke. And I sold a lot of Martins. Alright, let's go down and see how that is with stabilizer. It feels much, much better. They feel, one shot there didn't feel that good in the release. I didn't apply enough back tension to it, but overall it all felt pretty good. So let's go and see where those arrows are. Okay, so I'm up here at the target. Now this is my group, which you would have seen already. Now I can't actually get my fingers around that group. You can see the stabilizer actually has changed the balance of the bow somewhat, and it's caused the arrows to be shooting slightly lower. Now I've got more up and down movement, so the up and down movement goes from the 9 to the 7. Left and right is excellent. So excellent left and right, up and down I'm getting some movement. Now I'm going to guess the reason for that is because I've changed my anchor point here and it's floating around. That would be corrected with the peep sight because I'd be lining up the peep sight with the housing of the sight. So for me, this group I'm pretty happy with, as far as I'm getting no left to right movement and I've got up and down movement, but that's, I'm sure, to do with the anchor point being high or low. And with this bow, the bow would be set at 29 inches, I'm 28.5, so I'm not getting quite the back tension in there that I would get. So for me, and a lot of those arrows are good arrows, a lot of them are grouped really, really well. So I'm very happy with that group, even though it's not as good as I've shot on other rounds. Now, on the PSE, I'm just going to make a final point. What's really good about PSE is all the PSE accessories you can fit to the bow. You can fit a 2-piece quiver, which fits into that hole, and there's a little hole just there, which is a locator pin. So the bow, if you're fitting a 2-piece bow quiver, it cannot physically move, and you'll see that pin exists down the bottom. Now, that exists on all PSE bows except for the PSE Carbon Stealth. It does not have the locator pin because it's a carbon riser. The other thing all PSE bows have is a little thing in here, in there behind this arrow rest. It's a hole, and it's for PSE arrow rest to bolt into so they can't move. So things like the QAD Ultra rest has got a little plate so it locks in so the rest can't physically move. So overall, at $1,300, I think the PSE Evolve 28 is really well priced. I'm a big fan of the grey limbs. I'm a big fan of the grey charcoal finish. If I was choosing an Evolve today, I'd definitely be choosing the charcoal. On the Evolve 28 versus the Evolve 31 and the Evolve 35. Now for me, the logical choice is an Evolve 35, being that it's got greater accuracy, it's an easier bow to shoot. But saying that, it depends what you're doing with your archery. So I do a lot of competition shooting, but my mum's place is a recreational archery park, and that's where you just go and shoot arrows and just relax. Now, for where I want to relax and I don't care about big stabilizers and the heavy bows, I'm looking for that ultimate accuracy, that's where I'm looking at an Evolve 28 or the Evolve 31. And the Evolve 28 to me is a little bit lighter. It's still got the draw cycle. It's a pretty cool little bow, and I like little bows. They're just cool. I would shoot this probably with the fast modules just because it's a cool little bow and I want more speed out of it. So I would probably fit the fast modules to this bow if I was buying it. Now I have, since I started archery, which is many, many years ago, I've always had a short hunting bow in my arsenal. It's one of the bows I've had. Don't ask me why, since I'm not really a hunter. But it's one of the bows I have, and I just like short, fast little bows. And this is definitely one of the nicest, shortest bows I have shot. But like I said, I'd probably fit the fast let-off modules to it just to make it a bit more grunty and a little bit more speed in the shot, creating more back tension in the shot. But overall, I think the bow's finished really well. I've got no complaints at all about the finish of the product. I think PSE have done a good thing with the Evolve cam system as far as adjustability for consumers and shops, because it means a shop only needs to stock one bow to be able to sell it to many customers. With the Matthews Triax, you order a 28 inch, the guy comes in, he's 28.5, you then need to have modules in stock. So it's a bit of a pain. I don't expect the Evolve 28 to be a big selling item. I expect the Evolve 31 will outsell the Evolve 28 probably 6-1. The Evolve 31 will be slightly more popular than the Evolve 35 because hunting is more popular than target and field archery. So the most popular bow of the Evolve series will be the 31. Then it will be probably the 35 for people looking for a little bit more accuracy with the hunting, and then the 28 will follow it. But I don't expect to sell a lot of Evolve 28s in my store. But I could be wrong. I've been many times wrong before. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and the more you shoot, the better you'll shoot, and enjoy it while you're doing it. Thanks for watching. Bye.